pronounced like O and O. Example, op. This is a preposition that means on. Vloot means fleet. P is pronounced like P. Example, post. In English, post. Q is pronounced like Q. Example, quotum. In English, quotum. R is pronounced like R, R, and R. Example, rood, red. Abattoir, slaughterhouse. The pronunciation of the R differs from region to region in the Dutch language area. So it depends on where you are, how people pronounce the R. Let's continue with the S. S is pronounced like S. Example, soms. In English, sometimes. T is pronounced like T. Example, tot. In English, until. U is pronounced like or U. Example, put, which means well or fountain. Uur, which means hour. V. V is pronounced like V. Example, vast, which is in English fast. V is pronounced like V. Example, warm, which is in English warm. X is pronounced like X. Example, taxi, taxi. Xenophile, in English xenophile. A is pronounced like I, U, and A. Example, ypsilon, in English ypsilon. Yoghurt, in English yogurt. As, in English y-axis. Z is pronounced like Z. Example, zacht, which means soft. You've probably noticed that many phonemes are quite similar to those in English and German. Now we're going to look at some special phonemes which are typical for the Dutch language. I is pronounced like I. Example, by, which is in English bay. Think of Baywatch. Au is pronounced like au. Example, auto, which is in English car. CH or is pronounced like example, lach, which is in English love. Eeuw is pronounced like eeuw. Example, leeuw, which means in English lion. A is pronounced like a. Example, einde, which means end. U is pronounced like u. Example, leuk, which means nice. I is pronounced like I. Example, dier, which means animal. Eeuw is pronounced like ew. Example, kiu, which is in English a gill of a fish. A. A is pronounced like a, and in some cases like a. Example, ace, which means ice. Menselijk, in English, humane. Ng or ng is pronounced like ng. Example, bang, which means afraid. U is pronounced like u. Example, book, in English, book. Oi is pronounced like oi. Example, ooit, which means ever. Ow is pronounced like ow. Example, koud, which means cold. You probably noticed that ow is the same sound as a previous phoneme, and you're right, only the spelling is different. The sound is exactly the same. Let's continue with sch. Sch is pronounced like sch. Example, school, which is school in English. Sy or sh is pronounced like shall, in English, shawl or scarf. O is pronounced like o. Example, house, in English, house. This was your acquaintance with the Dutch alphabet. Hopefully you've learned a lot, and will this video help you to practice? The pronunciation of the Dutch language is fairly phonetical. This will certainly help you to improve your pronunciation skills. Good luck with learning Dutch. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time.